Hey guys, welcome to another mini episode of Young Urban Moms. And we have Crystal and Carol, your favorite yums, here with us today. And we have a very special husband and wife duo as our guest co-host today. They are a part of our Yum Coronavirus Task Force, and they're both New York City public school teachers. So say hi, Mr. and Mrs. S&B.
Hi,
Hi
how's
guys.
everybody doing out there?
So, as you can imagine, everyone's freaking the fuck out right now. Yes, we curse here, so feel free to speak freely.
Yes.
I feel like the announcement was really abrupt that school was suspended, and we kind of all thought it would be like, all right, a week or two, and then it became basically a month, and now there's all this uncertainty in the air about if we're even going to have a school year. So I can only imagine as teachers how you guys feel. I mean, a lot of, talk I'm seeing online is teachers are all feeling a way that they didn't even get a chance to say goodbye to their kids. So first of all, how are you guys doing with this? I mean, I know that you guys are parents yourselves. You have, 3 kids that you're dealing with. So how have you guys communicated this as parents to your kids? Like, what's going on right now?
You could go first, baby.
Okay, well, I spoke to all three of them differently. So my 11-year-old, he knows the terminology, he knows coronavirus, he knows what it is, and he knows some facts about it. He was feeling some anxiety, so I had to talk with him, very honest talk with him about, all the changes and what it is that's happening. With my 6-year-old, she's in first grade. I had to use different words, even though she knows the word coronavirus. They mention the words to her in school without my permission. But we're referring to it as the germs, the ugly germs, and what we want to do with the germs that are spreading and how we can keep them from spreading. So I spoke to them differently, but basically, keeping in mind what they need to know and what it's different than what we know and like the little one, he's only 3. Hi. Go. What's your room? So different terminology, but basically it just adjusts. So it depends on their age and how much they can handle. Parents know their kids better than teachers would. So just keep in mind what they can handle and how much you want to say to them at this point.
Yeah, because the one thing you don't want to do is like drive everybody in a frenzy and scare them. So, just tell them that there's a new virus out there that is getting people sick. Some people are getting sicker than others, and we all have to try to be careful and be safe. So, the washing your hands and not putting your hands in your face, like we keep stressing that and reiterating that over and over again. And that the reason that we don't have schools right now is because we're trying to prevent more people from catching it, because it's a new virus. Everyone who comes in contact with it is going to catch it. We don't have the immunity for it yet. So just try to like give them like the scientific meaning behind it as to why it's so easy to catch, and to be safe. But that it'll pass, it'll be over, and everything will go back to normal. We just have to deal with this now and just try to stay calm. If you stay calm, they'll stay calm. If you panic, they're gonna panic. If you start getting scared and every little thing, then they're gonna react that way. So just try to keep it calm. That's kind of like my philosophy during all of this.
Dope. That's helpful. I mean, I feel like if we all start freaking out in front of the kids, they're going to see that and pick up on that energy. So, yeah, I've been trying to do the same thing, but I'm not going to lie. Sometimes the uncertainty of all this does start to get to me. Like some days it just feels like, okay, we're going to pretend it's like the weekend. And then other days it's like, I don't know when we're going back to normal. Like this is a little nuts. And so to that effect, now, at least in New York City and New Jersey, we've switched to online schooling, or, which basically makes us as parents homeschool teaching. So that really officially begins for us tomorrow, although for some, grade levels, it started last week. My son goes to Catholic school, my daughter goes to public, so he still had, online learning last week, but for my daughter, and she's in high school, it starts tomorrow. So what can parents expect of this like online schooling? You know, what is the downside of it? I mean, I know this is probably new for you guys too, but um, help us out here. Let us know what we can expect with this.
Okay, so you said it yourself. This is new to us too. I never expected in a million years that a classroom teacher, would be teaching from home or working from home. I'm always envious of my friends who could work from home, and I'm always like, I could never do that. And here we are. And we were expected to learn all of this on 3 days of professional development, going to the schools, and then whatever we're doing here, just trying to piece it together. So, to begin with, like, I think parents need to understand what is remote learning, right? So remote learning is as simple as, like, it's communication. So it could be just emailing. It's me posting an assignment on a Google Classroom website or whatever platform the teacher's already using. Giving feedback, receiving the assignment. It could be like a virtual classroom, where you are doing like real live learning. Although I'm gonna try to stay away from that because people's schedules are different. So I'm thinking about just posting videos on mini lessons, and then the kids can click on those videos at their leisure whenever they can. But I know that what remote learning is not your kid is not going to be in front of a device or a computer for 6.5 hours like in a school day. Um, it's just, we're all trying to just figure it out, one day at a time. We're going to try to do as best as we can. It's not the classroom, but we're going to try to make it as interactive and as engaging for our students as possible as we learn the system a little better.
If I could add something. So for younger kids, I'm a pre-K teacher, so our learning is completely hands-on through activities and centers and just doing it. They learn through doing and through play. So for my students, this is not ideal. So what I plan to do is, as a STEAM teacher, so most of my lessons were based on science and technology and engineering. So I will record videos of myself doing some science experiments and things that are simple enough for them, if possible, for them to do at home with their parents. But the downside to that is that they need parents to help them. The little ones, like pre-K, kindergarten, even up to first grade, they're going to need parental support. They cannot do these things by themselves. They cannot complete a lot of assignments on their own. So that's a downside for the little ones. The good thing is that, in my school, we were using Class Dojo to communicate with the families. So something as simple as posting a picture of, I brought hermit crabs from one of my classes home. So they're in my daughter's room and she's going to take care of them. So I posted a picture of her with a sign saying, hey, I'm going to take care of the hermit crabs, don't worry. So just a simple connection, a picture, even some of the teachers are planning to read stories and record themselves reading a story, a short story, for them to just see that and maybe comment on, like, did you enjoy it? Or what was your favorite part of the story? Something simple, because they're little. And without the parent support, we will not get much done. Right. The good thing for the bigger kids, they're independent. So like my son, he's in 6th grade. He can complete all his assignments that the teacher are posting by himself. I just need to make sure that he's doing it and that he's doing it correctly. But as far as completion and participation, he can do that on his own. So it depends on the grade level, but this is all new. So we'll see how it goes with the first week starting tomorrow.
Now, to add to that question, Mary, for those parents that need to be, of course, every parent has to be hands-on, but have multiple kids, like, what advice do you give for families that have more than, one child, or have 5 kids that all need a schedule and need to have remote learning, and then maybe some that have huge age differences? Maybe they have kids that maybe they have a set of twins, and then, or one that's in kindergarten. Like, what do we do when we have so many children, and how can we balance it out and provide enough time for each?
Yeah, no, it's a challenge. That reason alone is the reason why I'm not doing any kind of virtual live streaming, because if just by me doing that, I'm already going to start a conflict, because what if another teacher schedules something at that exact same time, right? So you already create a conflict within the household. I think the challenge is going to be creating a schedule that you can somewhat follow for each one of your kids. So I know with Sandra and I, what we've done is we created a schedule for Nina, like 8 to 8:30, 8:30 to 9. And of course, you have to leave room for flexibility within that schedule, because life is going to get in the way.
Right.
We are going to have to cook and wash dishes and use the bathroom and take care of our own kids and give feedback to parents. So I think that what parents need to do with multiple kids is try to create some kind of schedule for them in the beginning. You know, like if you're sharing one computer, you'll get the computer from 8 to 9. You'll get the computer from 10 to 11. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to tell your teachers, slow down. You know, like ease off the throttle a little bit. We're trying to work here, and you're giving too much, and they should be able to adjust, as well as, you know, maybe give a little more. This kid, you know, my kid completed everything this quick. So, you know, you want to stay in communication with your teacher. This is more than ever, we need to be communicated, because we're in uncharted territory here. So you need to be able to communicate with your teacher and say, if it's too much, please fall back. You know, we need a little more. And that's how I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it very simple in the beginning, starting tomorrow. You know, I'm the general education teacher. So I'm a fourth grade teacher. So I teach reading, writing, social studies. They have a separate math teacher. So I'll start off with maybe 1 or 2 assignments a day, and they'll be due like the next day or 2 days later. I'm not going to bombard my students with the same work that I would in the classroom, because they don't have the same time that they have in the classroom to do that. And they're sharing these devices with siblings. So you need to make sure that your teacher understands that. And if they don't be afraid to reach out.
So one thing, I mean, you mentioned just kind of some tips for parents to have multiple kids, but just in general, you know, Sandra, I'm interested in what tips you have for parents that do have little kids. What would sort of make things easier? You know, just kind of some quick things that they can do. You know, routines right now are all over the place. So what kind of, just off the top of your heads, what kind of things do you think could just help parents at this time?
Well, the main thing I want parents to understand is that this should not be more overwhelming than what it already is with everything that we have to deal with as parents. Keeping your child engaged when they're young, 4 or 5 years old, the easiest thing is you can use materials at home to create games and activities, and just to keep their mind going, to keep them engaged in something. You don't need much. For example, there are some things laying around in your kitchen that you can use. Obviously, you don't want to use the food that you're planning on eating, but even like old toys. I'm planning to put even what you could do with a piece of paper, like creating a book together. Most parents have crayons and markers and things at home, even just a pencil. You don't need much. Parents do not need to go out and buy materials. You can use what you have at home. I'm sharing slime activities and things that you can use that you have in your house to make engaging activities for sensory play. You know, you can use it. Some people don't have access to the outside world. They don't have a balcony. They don't have a backyard. So resources will be limited for some people. So you have to kind of, you know, reach out and be creative, but that's why we're here. So like, I know my colleagues and I will be kind of like keeping that in mind as we prepare these lessons and these activities that we plan on parents to help us out with. So it should be something that's accessible to everyone, you know, like dissecting a seed, for example, is one of the lessons that I do with the unit that we were supposed to start tomorrow, which is the plants and trees unit. So what I do with a science lesson is soaking a seed. It could be a bean. It could be any type of seed that you have, like, beans and like lima beans or black beans. Most, some parents might have, they might not, right? So if I post that lesson, I have to keep in mind that if they don't have access to that, they won't be able to complete it. So you have to be sensitive and be kind of like, keep that in mind, because you don't want to make someone feel left out if they can't do it because they don't have the resources. So if you don't have a seed that you can soak and open up and see what's inside, then maybe you can show them pictures of a seed. Can you draw a seed? What do you see outside your window? Are there any trees? Do you see any plants? What do you see? Send me a picture of what you can see outside your window. Everyone has a window. So just kind of like keeping in mind, being able to complete these things and know that not everyone is going to have, a multiple list of resources available. Even us, like as parents, like we're teachers, so we may have more things at home than a regular person would. But keeping in mind that not everyone will. So just using what things you have at home.
Do you have any advice to those parents that have children with special needs who, their life is on a routine, and now this whole thing, completely throws their routine out of whack, and a lot of their learning, like you said, is hands-on? What advice do you have to those parents that don't have their ABA therapist coming in, their OT therapist coming in? And, I would hope that parents were hands-on when they were having that therapy, right? But a lot of parents may not have been. So now, not only are they learning how to be teachers, but now teachers to their children who have special needs, and they might have other children as well who are not. So those special needs parents, what advice do you have for them?
Yeah, those parents have the most challenge, right? Because they're the ones that were getting the most help. And now that help has been taken away. I think you have to start with whatever online communication you have with their providers, right?
Right.
So they may not be there physically, but everyone is required to do something or provide some
Well, you're breaking
learning
up.
experience. So you start there. If you're not getting that, if you're not getting any correspondence, anything from those providers, you need to reach out. Everyone is held accountable. We're still on the payroll. We're still getting paid. Our work hours haven't changed.
Great point.
So start there. And then you have to adapt, as the parent, like you have to step in and fill in the void that's being left. And some people are going to be better equipped to handle that than others. But no doubt that this is an unprecedented challenge. And, I do feel for those parents, but my advice would be try to exhaust the resources that have to be provided for you first. Start there. Explore that avenue to the fullest. Hold people accountable, such and such. You gave me something, but this was only for one day. Like I need, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I may need a little more. And then take it from there. Like, what can I do? What can I do at home that you can help me? What can you send me? What activity? What routines do you
What
have
song
in
works?
place? Can you type it? Can you type it? Can you send me an email? What's a typical 45-minute session with my son look like? That's their job, and right now they're doing it from home, and they still have to do it. So start there and fill in the pieces you can. It's hard.
That's great advice. Thank you for that.
And I mean, Mary mentioned early on in the call just the uncertainty of everything. What can we kind of as parents just kind of expect? I know for me, my daughter's prom is getting right now. There's no word on whether or not it's going to be canceled or her graduation. Just kind of right now, schools we have until April 20th, but just kind of an idea of whether or not this is long term, and if it's long term, or not, how can we kind of prepare our kids for that, whether or not, whatever you guys have. I'm pretty sure you might not have some like back end feedback, but anything you can provide, just because
We got
right now we have
scoop.
a month, but it's like, oh, maybe not. So things like that.
Yeah, April 20th is the date as of right now. But the sense that I get from the emails from the chancellor and all the communication we've been getting, which by the way, it's overwhelming for this emails after emails after emails from the chancellor and from the New York City Department of Education. We're getting tons of things, multiple things, hour by hour. So just trying to, it seems like it's a tentative date. We're all hopeful that we can go back to the classrooms in April. However, we preparing for the worst case scenario right now. It's not a bad idea because we really don't know how long this is going to take. It is a little sad and it's disturbing to kids that are in a grade where they have to graduate and they had, senior trips and senior, oh my God, like, just
Proms and
all these
graduation.
celebrations that potentially might not happen now. So this is a social emotional thing. It's a conversation, and it's not going to be an easy one, because we have to prepare. What if, right? What if it doesn't happen? The good thing is that, I see that some of the older kids, they are in touch with their friends. They had their phones and they had contact with their friends. So like, I don't know, maybe students can start connecting on their own, classmates, and keep that going. Maybe they can have conferences themselves, we're in a safe environment where they are respectful to one another, of course, but just to keep that connection going. Can you imagine a virtual prom? Like, can you imagine, like
No,
this is where we're headed?
yeah, my daughter's she's like, no, we have to have my prom.
Yeah,
She's been waiting for this for 4 years.
And
But
I
mean,
hope they get to,
Yeah, but even like, just kind of moving on to the next grade, like she still needs to do one presentation. So just that concern too of like, how are we really going to wrap up? How are we really going to know who's ready to move to the next grade if,
that's a
like
huge gray area now.
Yeah.
As far as
academics. I'm sorry, what I was going to say was, April 20th is a real tentative date. If you base it on the pattern in other countries that are ahead of the curve, it's like 4 months,
Right.
5 months. So we started like February, so June. So they're not going to have everybody go back at the end of June, right? So in all, the most likely scenario is that this is going to be for the remainder of the school year. I agree with Sandra that there's a lot of social emotional concerns for those students who waited for a long time for the events. And, that's something that you're going to have to have conversations about and say that sometimes life throws you the unexpected. And this is one of those instances, and it's not ever, not always going to go your way. Again, seek counseling. Like right now, there's so many free services.
Right.
If anyone needs that, to talk to a counselor or anything like that. But as far as like the actual remote learning interface and what we're gonna go through, I think I'm optimistic that everyone is just gonna get better at it. Like we're humans, right? So we adapt. So I think that the first week or two is gonna be a little rocky. There's gonna be a lot of like glitches. Everyone's on the internet now, so it might crash. Who knows? So it's going to be a lot of like communication, and the communication has to be there between teacher, student, and parent. But I think as the weeks go by and we start developing like some kind of cadence, some type of rhythm, some type of flow, I think everyone is going to find their comfortable nook within this. Even families with 4 or 5 siblings, parents who have to work at home, Sandra and I, we have to find a schedule, a flow that's going to work. So I think we could make it work. I think by the end of June, I think everyone is probably going to end up preferring this to going to school, because then we go back in September, everyone's going to be like, oh, we got to get dry, we got to go to school, we got to go, I think we will eventually get into a flow where we will get better. However, with that said, there's nothing that could replace the classroom, right? So yeah, like invariably kids are gonna fall back and digress. I don't think anyone is going to get held over. I think no one is going to get left back, because how can you hold back a kid, right, when unexpected circumstance? So next year, September, many teachers are going to face challenges they never faced before. They're going to be kids who are not on grade level, kids that are like going to be the most behind you've ever seen. I'm going to get a batch of fourth graders next year who never completed third grade.
Right.
So that's going to be interesting. Where everybody's just going to try their best. We're going to try to give as much instruction at home as we could, but it's not going to replace the classroom. That I want to make clear. Like, there's no way, are there some kids who might thrive in this? Yeah, but those are the kids that thrive in the classroom anyway.
Right.
But most kids, I think, are going to fall back. And then, it all depends on how much they do during the summer and how quickly they catch up.
And another concern I have, and you guys as educators, there are some families that, their parents are not hands-on. So what concerns do you have for those children that don't have that support at home? And then when they come next year, what do you think could be in place for them? We don't know, right? That's a question that. So do you think that city agencies, do you think that there's going to be checkups at homes? I feel like this is a question that just came out of nowhere, but I feel that, after watching that Gabriel Fernandez thing on Netflix and how crazy that was, I don't want to get too morbid, but I have concerns for children that there's neglect there. And then this coming and sweeping through. So do you think there's anything that's going to be in place for those families?
We don't know, to be honest. We haven't been
Yeah,
given
it's not
any
a question that I
directives on that,
expected.
which is very, it makes me nervous, especially the little ones, because they're at the mercy of their parents. And unfortunately, like we all know, not all parents are good parents like us, so it makes me nervous, because not only for their social emotional well-being and growth, there's going to be a huge lack of that for a lot of kids, a lot of my students, they won't have peer interaction, this is such a big part of their learning when they are pre-K students, 4 or 5 years old. Sometimes my students are even 3 years old. So they are not, unless they have siblings at home, this will not be happening for them. They're interacting with adults, with grown-ups. And if they don't have a good mommy or good daddy or someone who understands how important this is, they're going to, they're going to
suffer a little bit.
They're going to suffer. Yeah.
But those students, I'm sorry, those students were at a disadvantaged position to begin with, because, I've been teaching for 15 years, and it's no secret. There's a direct correlation between parental involvement and student success, right? Of course, there's anomalies every now and then that kids still thrive no matter the circumstances. But most of the time, when the parent is involved, the kid does better in school. So those kids whose parents are not as hands-on, are not as focused in their kids' studies. No, I mean, I say this, with a broken heart, but those kids were disadvantaged to begin with, before this ever happened. Maybe, and this is the optimist in me speaking, maybe this can be what makes some parents change. Maybe this could be the call that the parent says, man, this was hard. I was expecting the teacher to do all of this. Maybe I should work a little bit more. Let's see, but it's not a good situation. This is not something that, we look toward with oh, this is great. I'm glad this happened. No, we're scared. We're nervous. Some things are gonna really get uglier with students' academic lives. But hopefully some of those parents can change. We'll see.
Yeah, the expectation is not for parents to become certified teachers overnight. That is not feasible. It's impossible for a parent to just all of a sudden know how to, execute a lesson in a content they have no idea.
Right.
Haven't familiar with. It's just not it's just not realistic. So again, like I feel like less is more. Some of my colleagues are very nervous about this. They don't feel comfortable with, you know, posting videos of themselves. You know, everyone is different. But it should be realistic. Like set realistic goals for yourself as a parent and for your children as well. Like they should not be overwhelming. What can they handle? Can they do this math worksheet by themselves? Do they need your help? If they do and you don't know the content, like my son's 6th grade math,
I was just about to say that.
I don't know what he is doing.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank God my husband is very good at math and he can help him with his math homework. I sometimes find myself at a roadblock. I don't know how to explain it. I am not sure what the answer is. So I understand how
I'm
overwhelming.
constantly on Google.
This is insane. So if you can do something, you know, be realistic about it and understand that that will happen. And we are human and we are not perfect. So parents need to really understand that all you can do is try your best. Be there for your child, most importantly, emotionally.
Right.
Okay.
Great point.
Then academically. And I am saying this as a parent of 3 and as a teacher for 13 years. You know, what's most important? Are you okay? How do you feel today? Is anything, what made you smile today? At the end of the day, you can ask these questions just to tap in with them, to check in on them, to make sure that they're okay emotionally. You know, this is a big change for them.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
And there's only, we can do a lot. But you know, we also have to make sure that we're okay. So it's just a matter of taking it one day at a time, not overwhelming the children as well as yourselves with a workload that is not realistic and that is not feasible. It's just, don't do that to yourselves.
Can you guys recommend, thank you guys for your time, you're amazing, but any online resources, websites that can help and assist parents in the online learning process?
Yes, there are so many resources and a lot of resources that were paid resources are
Like
now
paid
free.
subscriptions and stuff like that.
Subscriptions, excuse me. So I do have, I found an article with 45 free educational websites. Some of my favorite ones, me being a science teacher, so NASA Kids Club is offering amazing resources. Brain Pop and Brain Pop Junior are free now. You have to pay usually to get a subscription, but it's free. I Excel Learning, they have a whole bunch of activities, math, literature, all different grade levels as well. So we can put something together and give it to you guys so you can access these links. And there's endless. If I kept going down my list, we'll be here all day. So there's many resources right now. You can Google educational websites or free resources for distance learning, and there's a whole bunch of things. But if not, I can send you guys something that I have found myself that I will use with my children.
Yeah, we'll definitely post it on our website and share it on social as well. But I mean, one thing that I kind of noticed you post recently was like you made a really cute kind of like routine itinerary schedule type of thing for your daughter. And I know that you said that you were gonna make that shareable as a PDF or whatever as well. So we'll repost that also. But it definitely seems like everyone that we talk to, and even from the gist of this conversation, is that like routine is really important. And I just feel like with the smaller kids, it definitely is harder to enforce. Kind of like you said, my experience is similar where like my daughter is older, she's in high school, so she kind of works independently. I mean, there are things that she doesn't know, but we kind of Google them together. But she's responsible for herself. Whereas with my son, it's like freaking pulling teeth to get him to get off of the Xbox or, you know, whatever device he's using and actually focus for 5 minutes, let alone for like a whole lesson plan. So I don't know, I guess we'll see how this goes, but if there's any insight you can give as to how you enforce the routine. I mean, I love just seeing it written kind of made me inspired. So
yeah. So I plan to
I think,
and laminate it.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, what I was gonna say is like just, you know, try to take same approach that teachers take in the classroom to get kids to follow, you know, so like positive reinforcement, lots of praise. If they follow their routine from 8:30 to 9, oh, gold sticker, you know, you get 5 gold stickers and you'll earn this, you know, keep it positive, keep try to the best that you can to keep them on that schedule, because kids crave routine, right? They act like they don't. They try to rebel against it, but at the end of the day, they want to feel that security of a routine. So getting it started and being positive about it and praising every success is important in the beginning, and then over time, like 2, 3, 4 weeks, start praising them for doing it on their own. Oh wow, I didn't even have to tell you to go into quiet time or go into playtime outside on your own. You did it on yourself, by yourself. So that's how I would start out.
Yeah. So for the little ones, a sticker goes a long way. Alonso's not that little, so it might be a little tricky.
Yeah, but I'm sure he loves stickers.
But reward, like, what does he want? What makes him tickle? So Nina loves her computer, her iPad or TV time. So that's her reward. So if you complete your math activity or your math work for the day in the morning, then you get your device time. If you don't, then that's going to have to be forfeited. So what do they want? What is the one thing that they're looking forward to? So you can use that as a reward system. So that might be my next step, like creating like maybe a little chart that, oh, you did this, good job. You're doing so good. Like, and not every day is going to be perfect. She will have off days where she is, not at her best. So again, flexibility is key. So just make sure you're flexible with them and know that they are little people too. That, they're people. They're just little. So
you could probably keep a chart, Mary, because I know you said the actual sticker itself is not the reward, right? But like a chart with the sticker that is going towards something can help. So teachers have charts in their classrooms. They have behavior charts. So that would be something you might want to implement in your household with a dry erase board or anything, a piece of paper, Alonzo, and then like columns, and you this is one start. You need three more stickers to get this. That's a start, because like you want to try to adapt the things that have worked in the classroom in your home as best as you could. So again, that goes to the communication. Reach out to the teachers. What has worked? How do you get Alonso to stay sitting down in class? Because he doesn't stay still here. Like reach out. I'm sure she has great tips.
That's great advice. Thank you. I'll be doing that. Although I feel like the teacher probably lets him run because she doesn't want to deal with it either, but that's a whole other conversation. Do you guys have any other questions? I know we're taking a lot of you guys' time and you got to get back to your kids. So
no, I wanted to actually thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You have been, I can tell you're probably great in the classroom. Just your dedication and how you both speak to your craft is very incredible. Thank you, Sandra, for the work you do. Pre-K, early childhood in general is so important and crucial. You too, don't worry. But I have a pre-K and early childhood has a very special place in my heart. My son is 6 and he's on the spectrum, and his early childhood teacher was just an angel. So very appreciative. So yeah, so thank you both. That's all.
You're welcome.
Of course,
yes,
you're welcome.
Thank you so much, guys. And we'll make sure that we filter any feedback from our audience to you guys. So everyone out there, if you have questions for Miss S and Mr. B, definitely send them to us at Young Urban Moms, #YumLife. And one thing that I can personally say is that I know this is a difficult time for you guys as educators. And from what I know of you two, both of you, like if anybody can figure this out, then it'll be you two. So we'll be looking for those tips and sharing them. So good luck.
Thank you for having us. Definitely reach out. Any questions, concerns, suggestions, feel free. Thank you.
Thank you. Love you guys.
Good luck, everyone.
Thank you.
Love you too. Bye.